Lots of you and all your IT is working perfectly. The next project is very close to my heart. It's the Genestreams Songlines Sculpture Tourism Trails Initiative, and we've got the two people who've been collaborating to make that happen, and I've actually seen those sculptures in the real life. They are deeply inspiring. So Aunty Carol Pedersen from Western Australia, down in the Mirananga area, and Ben Beaton from Gondwana Link Associates will be presenting this awesome project. Take it away.
In our nation. I'm here today to tell you a story about a two-way learning collaboration of old and new science to bring about a new way for a much deeper connectivity in caring for country. In offering this project, our vision is to involve and unite communities from a broad background of disciplines to create an icon that promotes consciousness about caring for country. We want people to have the experience of reconnecting to country with a deep time awareness of our role as custodians in bringing species and ecosystems back into balance. This project can and has brought communities together. It tells about ecological knowledge and of how we as a multicultural people care for country. So within these sculptures, there are many stories which will be retold that brings everybody back into the spirituality of treading the footprints of our ancient people. The Genestreams Songlines Sculpture Initiative is a nationwide multidisciplinary and multicultural project. A big driver is not just the environment and community, but it's our future too. All of our planets and natural environments are special. The environment that you are personally engaged in protecting is special. It has unique flora and fauna. Its geology is sublime. The culture is deep. We believe that more people should know about your region and what makes it special. What are the threats facing it now? And how can they get involved in conservation efforts to help your place? We can tell you that the Genestream modelling, which has the potential to extend into a Genestreams Songline sculpture, is here to help you. Because by seeing a visualisation of the health of a natural system, people can see what action needs to be taken. Our hope for this presentation is that by the end of this conference, you'll be one of 100 people who have contacted us to express your interest in discussing the possibility of this project commencing in your region. This could lead to an augmented reality Genestream sculpture project getting started first, which can be placed anywhere in the bush without the cost of physical construction. At a later stage, a physical Genestream Songline sculpture could be established in your local park. To express your interest, please email us at genestreams@gmail.com. In my time, I've witnessed much of the land clearing in the southwest. However, in recent times, I've also witnessed what it takes to heal the land. The ingredients to healing the land are conservation, science, and harmonious multicultural identities working together. And I envisage a public art program that should speak to the combination of conservation, science, and multicultural approach. Australia is a multicultural country. I am a multicultural person. When I was young, I had to hide from people who were trying to take me away from my parents because I had a white father and an Aboriginal mother. But that's not the case today. Today, we value our multicultural identity because it gives us strength. In 2017, I asked visiting artist Ben Beaton, who'd come to work with Gondwana Link, if he could see a way that we could connect these contributing elements into the foundation for a public art program.
Aunty Carol's request in relation to developing the design foundations for a public art program that would share information on local conservation efforts, scientific research, and culture was unique. Since 2006, I'd undertaken over 35 artist residency projects on the ecology, geology, and deep time history of Australia's natural systems, and I'd shared what I'd learned through my website, sciart.com.au. In 2016, I commenced a project called Following the Lewin Current. I intended to follow the current from the Kimberley to Tasmania, creating one large journal drawing. I began the project in Jana Gorge, and over the following 2 years, I followed the Lewin Current through a sequence of artist residency projects. When I reached Albany with the intention of learning from Gondwana Link about their approach to conservation, the drawing that I'd started in the Kimberley had grown to over 30 metres in length. It was the experiences that I had with the people that I met through Gondwana Link that transpired to change the direction of my life. In the Stirling Ranges, I was introduced to Banksia montana, of which I was told there was less than 30 individuals remaining. When I travelled out to Wave Rock with Aunty Carol, we passed through the wheat belt. There I was confronted by one of the worst examples of ecological destruction that I experienced. You can see it for your teaching tools, but because I felt that there was more effective ways that I could participate in furthering conservation. I'd been modelling data on the Tree of Life in the context of deep time and preferred futures since the mid-1990s, how to visualise the connectivity of all life, and then utilise this visualisation for conservation purposes was the question that had inspired the creation of many artworks and designs. I began the development of Genestreams teaching tools at the Australian National University in 2019 as a proof of concept for the Genestreams website to broaden people's awareness of conservation through interactive experiences. Within the Tree of Life, my team developed 4 virtual reality Genestreams teaching modules, which presented content supplied by the ANU professors from a variety of schools. The project enjoyed considerable support at ANU until the impact of COVID landed, which resulted in hundreds of innovative projects, including my own, being closed down. At this time, I'd been sending Aunty Carol and Gondwana Link ideas for Aunty Carol's envisaged sculpture that could somehow share information on conservation, science, and culture. But it wasn't until I used one of the foundations, this is one of the models that I developed in Genestreams, a model that I designed to assist communities to comprehend and bring natural systems back into balance, that everything fell into place. Now, when a person enters a Genestreams Songlines sculpture, they're entering a giant evolutionary tree where the individual represents the whole of humanity. In the foundational stages for developing a Genestreams model and potential sculpture, we research threatened species in the region. Through community consultation, we then construct a circular phylogenetic tree that maps the deep time shared ancestry of 16 regional species, including humans. Each ring represents a different period of geological time, and the outer ring represents the present. This is our first step in making your part of your region's unique deep time story visible. Like a thumbprint, each model is unique because the deep time journeys of the Genestreams are unique.
A Genestreams model of the shared ancestries of species becomes a Genestreams sculpture when the field naturalist art of the region is added, and it becomes a Genestreams Songlines sculpture when the Aboriginal art of the region is added. This new educational approach visualises and connects us to the natural world and to each other. Through public art, we offer a two-way narrative experience. Now, you know, just as a pancake has 2 sides, so too does this sculpture. On the inside, it features field naturalist art about the region. On the outside, it features the work of Aboriginal artists of the region. The sculpture teaches us about local conservation initiative in the region, scientific knowledge of the region, and culture in the region. The Genestreams Songlines Sculpture are a multidisciplinary and multicultural initiative. It's not just an augmented reality or a physical sculpture that you visit, it's a learning porthole. It's a time machine. It's a means of connecting and participating and caring for country. In Western Australia in 2021, we launched our first Genestreams Songlines sculpture at the Twin Creeks Nature Reserve and tested our first augmented reality Genestreams Songlines sculpture at Mount Magnet in the local park. In Queensland in 2022, we launched our second Genestreams Songlines sculpture in the Bunya Mountains as a contribution to the Bon Iver Bush University. We are currently developing projects at 5 other locations. I think it's clear to a growing number of us that the only viable long-term solution to saving endangered species lie in saving the ecosystem that the species gene stream evolved through. Our project seeks to participate in promoting this awareness. It also seeks to recognise the old walk trails that Australia's first conservationists trod since time immemorial, and which is why I chose to include the word songline in the sculpture title. The artwork you see here were created by the local contribution artists from Twin Creek, Mount Magnet and the Bunya Mountains. We pay artists to use digital images of their artwork in the sculpture, and artists keep their original artwork. We hope that through this sculpture, people with an interest in Aboriginal art will come to understand that our culture is all about deep held values to conservation.
In the development of the artworks for the Genestreams models, I invited renowned scientific illustrator Marley Moyer to collaborate with me. I met Marley in 2010 when I was the artist for the Burke and Wills environmental expedition, which travelled in the footsteps of Burke and Wills from Melbourne to the Gulf. At this time, Marley had commenced a 10-year project with her art students at Menindee Lakes, drawing and then recollecting plants that naturalist Dr. Herman Beckler collected on that expedition 150 years earlier. In Marley's words, she has an interest in projects that encourage us to cherish the land, train ourselves to slow down, pay attention, and develop a love for country. Marley's intention is to create artworks of the Australian red list species to be exhibited in association with the Genestreams Songlines sculptures to help promote, raise awareness, and raise funds for conservation organisations. Here you can see some of the field naturalist artworks for the sculptures that Marley and I have created. A strong objective of this project is community participation at all levels. This includes people who have an interest in the region.
Aunty Carol can hear me, can't she?
Now, I couldn't hear Ben. Am I on now? Okay.
Yes, you are, Aunty Carol. So if you just want to carry on and just get a little bit more background, because we've lost Ben altogether, and it's just a couple more minutes, and then we can take a couple of questions. So over to you.
Do you want me to continue with my narrative?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Hello, everyone. I'm back again. Just prior to testing our first augmented reality model at Mount Magnet, we added all of the artwork into the sculptures together into one digital mural, which was put on permanent display at the Mount Magnet Visitors Centre. This stimulated a high level of interest and discussion. We believe that a community artwork such as this, which displays in a public building the artwork of the sculpture, whilst informing people about the local augmented reality Genestreams Songlines sculpture, is a productive model that would benefit many communities. The advantage of using augmented reality is that it enables any community to commence a project without installing a physical sculpture. Anyone, regardless of their ethnic background, is welcome to contact us to start a project. We only ask that you're passionate about caring for your country. The present ecological and cultural situation, in a word, is fragmentation, brought about through the monetisation of ecological destruction. The proven solution is ecological restoration and multicultural enrichment by growing connectivity through conservation initiatives in communities that can only help to grow new industries. The sculpture increases connectivity awareness that inspires action through tools that facilitate participation. There are many worthwhile conservation initiatives that struggle through lack of access to funding. Therefore, we encourage the coupling of science with self-guided ecotourism that celebrates a multicultural approach to conservation through an experience of visual literacy tools that help us to build our preferred future and that we want to leave as a legacy for our children. Is Ben not there?
I'm here.
Ben's just,
Okay.
Ben's just come back into the picture. Ben, if you can just speak for 1 or 2 more minutes so that we've got opportunity to take 1 or 2 questions, that would be excellent.
Sure. Well, look, to add to what Aunty Carol said, you know, I for one hope that our initiative, which has an inclusive approach to conservation, will have a lasting impact. Once complete, the Genestreams website will share a range of tools whose goal will be to accelerate the public's comprehension of the Tree of Life and make visible, actionable steps in terms of restoring ecological systems that have been damaged. Across Australia, we aim to develop a combination of physical and augmented reality sculptures that will form a tourism trail to increase awareness of conservation, science and culture, because we believe that by bringing the gene streams of country back into balance, we contribute to bringing the living end of the Tree of Life back into balance. When standing inside a Genestreams Songlines sculpture, the inward curves of the phylogenetic tree that surrounds you reference the curves of Wave Rock, where I'm speaking to you from today, and which is where 5 years ago on my first visit to Wave Rock with Aunty Carol, we encountered somebody skateboarding on it. Aunty Carol walked up to him and said, "How would you like it if I skateboarded all over your church?" And in a direct sense, the continual land clearing of Australia, which is happening now, is a far more grievous version of the same approach. By strengthening cultural connections to the land and community engagement with nature, our project strengthens the ability for communities to argue against invasive land clearing projects. For example, we've recently been contacted by the Friends of Geological Corridor near Bunbury in Western Australia, who have asked to be involved in the Genestreams Songlines Sculpture initiative after their efforts failed to stop 71 hectares of forest being bulldozed, which is home to critically endangered Banksia woodlands and provides habitat for the critically endangered western ring-tailed possum, the endangered Carnaby's black cockatoo, and the black-striped minnow. We plan to share their story through the establishment of an augmented reality Genestreams Songlines sculpture in the region. We invite you to initiate a Genestreams modelling project in your region, which can help to promote and therefore protect your natural environment and potentially in time lead to the development of a Genestreams Songlines sculpture. So we'd love to hear from you. We'd love you to email us at genestreams@gmail.com to express your interest in learning more about how you could start a project in your region.
Okay. Intelligence should not fragment natural systems. On the contrary, it should nurture them. We need to do more than observe. We need to apply tools that enhance ecological restoration and multicultural awareness. We have, in effect, ground-proofed the Genestreams Songlines sculpture approach, achieved very strong community response with groups wanting to be part of a larger program, developed efficient community support systems, and are now ready to take the approach much wider. This meshes with the broader ecological needs identified above and reaffirmed by every national and international environmental conditional report of the past 20, 30 years. From early childhood to legacy sharing, caring for country is about caring for the gene streams of the country. And this is how we can share the story. When we can see how we are part of the nature, we are more likely to protect it. We present the gene streams of species as totems be cared for by local people to nurture connectivity, following in the wisdom of our First Nations peoples. And this is where you come in. Think about your region. What animals and plants do you want to protect? What are the important issues in your area that you're working to resolve? And would you like people to learn more about this through Genestreams? Imagine that by 2025, a combination of physical and augmented reality sculptures are plotting out conservation, science, culture, and natural systems trails all across Australia. Through growing a national ecotourism trail of our sculptures and potentially a global web of sculptures, as a connection of knowledge shared through the Genestreams online learning and teaching tools, we are bringing people into the awareness of threatened species in their region and helping to raise funds for local re-veg work. Just imagine, you could be part of this emerging global movement. Now, wouldn't that be amazing? Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Aunty Carol and Ben. We've run out of time for this session for questions. If people would like to know a bit more and ask me a couple of questions, I'm involved with Aunty Carol and Ben in my local community, putting together a proposal to put in a Genestream, and we're well on the way to doing that. So I can certainly talk to you about, you know, anything in detail. But isn't it amazing, despite a bit of IT glitch, we're actually able to share something that's been done across the other side of Australia, and so we've got to be like really keep on being grateful for that, rather than feeling like somehow we've been, you know, gypped by a glitch.
Thank you, Lou.
Aunty Carol, can you just repeat the contact email?
Genestreams@gmail.com.
Thanks. And if you look up Genestreams on Google, you'll come up with some articles and pictures and things like that too. Thanks very much, and you've got about 3 or 4 minutes to choose if you're wanting to move to another stream.